We're kicking off our great koozie photo contest. So you let any of us know if you live locally and you want a koozie, we'll drop one off to you, and you could take a photo with one of our fashionable koozies and do hashtag win a Yeti, hashtag Pismo Beach Homes, and you could win a Yeti cooler by Labor Day.
So much fun.
These amazing koozies, they're amazing.
I know, right? I mean, like it's so much better than just a, throwaway koozie. This is a keep forever koozie.
Right. You don't want to get your hands cold when you drink a cold beverage.
No.
When I told my kids they could keep them, they were so excited.
Oh, good.
Oh, isn't it funny how they like the things that are like pennies
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Trust me, what I dragged out of Jack's room over the last weekend, all of the stuff that they get for free is just amazing. The quantities of stuff. So,
were you able to donate stuff? Did you find a place to donate it?
Goodwill is accepting.
Goodwill.
Hey, good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure.
So, getting ready for school, getting the home desk set up. So.
All right. Ours starts tomorrow.
Yay, good luck to all of us.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Oh
well,
my gosh.
I'm excited to invite our guest this week on. She's someone my husband and I have known for quite some time now, and she's just a great human, and in addition to what she does for a living, and fun to talk to too. So let me kick off that we're having Monica Grant on today. She's the CEO of the San Luis Obispo County YMCA. She's been in that role since May of 2013. She has over 20 years of management experience with the YMCA, including the YMCA of Honolulu, where she served as vice president for the $27 million island-wide association. Monica has over 30 years of experience as a nonprofit and development professional, including work with UC Santa Cruz, the Nature Conservancy, United Way, and Sierra Club.
She also provides fundraising consulting, planning, organizational development, training, and facilitation for nonprofits with a focus on capacity building and sustainability. She has a BS in Recreation Administration and an MS in Organizational Leadership.
Monica currently serves on the boards of the Association of Fundraising Professionals, SLO County Chapter as past president, and Sierra Vista Regional Medical Center. She serves on the Economic Development Committee for the SLO Chamber and Legislative Affairs Committee for the South County Chamber. She lives in Aurora Grande with her wife, Colleen Murphy, and their son, Angelo.
The San Luis Obispo County YMCA has been deeply rooted in the community for more than 50 years. This nonprofit is service-based and reaches nearly every area of the county. Some of the programs include fitness classes, silver sneakers, after-school programs, preschools, before-school program, youth and biddy sports.
The mission of the YMCA is to develop the total person, spirit, mind, and body through values-based programs that build strong kids, strong families, and strong communities. So let's welcome Monica. Hey, how did you become involved with the YMCA?
Wonderful. First of all, thank you for having me here with you today. I greatly appreciate it. I got involved with the Y in college. So I was a rec major, and I was going to school in the mountains of North Carolina and got involved with the Y at a camp and conference center in the Blue Ridge Mountains called YMCA Blue Ridge Assembly. And did my internship with the Y. And so went on from there. Came out to California for my first real summer camp director job in 1983. And, so I've been in the Y many years, and I've also been out of the Y at points in my career for various reasons, mostly professional, but happy to be in the Y now for over 7 years in my current role.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about how COVID has had an impact on YMCA services in SLO County?
I would say, like many businesses, given our business model, which is heavily tilted toward youth programs, especially before and after school childcare and camps, and then adult and family fitness. So, we definitely got the double whammy So within 3 days, we were a almost $7 million operation with over 120 staff. Within 3 days, we were fully closed, and have been able to, relaunch, which I know we're going to talk more about in some capacities. Our fitness center was fully reopened, and then now, of course, is closed again. So we're doing outdoor fitness. So like many businesses are having to continue to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Okay.
So pretty
So tell
pretty
us
major impact is the bottom line.
oh, sorry.
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 I'm done.
Okay. What is YMCA Camp Care?
Okay, YMCA Camp Care is the emergency childcare program that we launched during COVID. Pretty much launched it in early April. It stands for CAMP, obviously is day camp. It stands for Childcare Assistance in Response to Emergency. And it's basically it was a half day and now full day camp program that started out first for, emergency workers, then essential workers, and then basically is now, most parents are pretty much, if you're working, you're pretty essential. So that's
yeah.
And we are now, summer day camp is ending this week. And we are now relaunching Camp Care for fall, given school closures.
Can I ask really quick how you are doing that? Like how do you work with the kids? Are they in smaller groups or?
Yeah, so I would say, one of the things that even though it's been challenging, I feel very grateful that the Y has had the months of experience we've had running these kinds of childcare programs during COVID, because it's pretty rigorous guidelines and definitely adds a whole nother layer of compliance and workload to staff and expenses, to be honest. So, typically our day camp programs would be anywhere from a ratio of 14 to 20 kids, depending on age, for one staff person. And now it's pretty much, depending on age, 1 to 10 to 12 kids on average. So that's pretty significant change right there. We're obviously doing a lot of fresh air programming, but we are in classrooms. The classrooms have to be controlled by age. You can't mix classrooms, like one day Johnny's in this classroom, the next day he's in that classroom. So that's pretty strict. And then a lot of, obviously, ongoing sanitizing throughout the day. Our staff wear masks. Kids are encouraged to wear them. I think this fall we'll probably be going to another layer around mask wearing for kids. But yeah, it's pretty rigorous. But does that answer your question? How do you do it?
Yeah. I've just been curious. Yeah.
The thing though is that's really wonderful when you go visit our camp programs, in spite of all these, like, oh my gosh, you feel so, as a leader and as a person, our staff working these programs, it adds another whole layer of responsibility to what you already have a big responsibility running any youth program. But the kids are still having fun. They're having a great time. They're being, as kids are, very adaptable.
Yeah. They're a lot more resilient than we give them credit for. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh, completely.
So that brings us kind of around to there has been some YMCA in the news, but not in our state, obviously, in states that decided to roll out overnight camps when they were allowed to. I know Georgia was one of them that started back to overnight camps in early June, and then pretty immediately were forced to close due to COVID outbreaks. What were your thoughts on those incidences, and did that have any effect on our local operations here?
No, California, I think, made personally the right call around not having overnight camps running. They have not been running all since the pandemic. While that's really hard for kids and also for those camps, and we don't have a local Y camp, resident camp in our county, but some of our neighbors do in a lot of camps in California. So it doesn't affect us personally. Our day camps are day programs. And again, I think our protocols are, they're based on all the state and county and CDC guidelines. So I think we're, no, you can never be too careful, but I feel very comfortable with our model.
Yeah.
And we're going to be providing academic support to kids. Obviously, this is not just a day camp program this fall because kids are in school and they're just doing virtual school. So we were doing that already this spring where they bring their Google Chromebooks in. It's going to be really interesting because there's going to be a whole lot going on there. Like
Yeah.
kids are going to be in their own world. But again, my staff are amazing and we're going to give kids the support they need.
Awesome.
So many of us rely on YMCA before and after school programs on campuses at our elementary schools. I know I did. How are those programs planning to operate in the next few weeks as school begins?
So basically, we are running out the clock currently on our day camp program, and Camp Care is launching next week. So it is, unfortunately, a very downsized effort from what we typically do. And, I wish we could be serving the normal 650 kids a day that we would in a regular year after school or during, just any kind of a school-based program. But that is primarily due to staffing. It's more challenging than I wish right now getting staff for a variety of reasons. And I think too, because of the protocols, you really don't want a million kids in your program. So we are looking at roughly, again, per classroom, probably ideally 4 classrooms worth of kids. So that would be around 40 kids on average that you can kind of rotate being outside, inside. That's probably the biggest we'd want to manage at any one site. So it's pretty limited space, unfortunately.
So I imagine that means wait lists and things like that for those that don't get on the list or get in the class.
I think initially it'll be wait lists, and then hopefully we can continue to expand with more staff coming on board.
Yeah. Are you having trouble finding staff because they're afraid, or is it what we've been seeing in the news about they get more unemployment and so on than a lot of employers can give? What's the sticking point with finding staff?
It's a great question. I think, there were some staffing challenges pre-COVID already, just with this type of work. Our staff typically tend to be more in a transitional mode in their careers, or they're starting out in their careers, they're college students. So obviously that whole landscape is being impacted. I do think some of it is around the unemployment, some of it is around an uneasiness for various reasons around working in anywhere right now in this environment, regardless of anyone's protocols. And some of it's valid. I mean, nobody's wrong for making the choices they're making, but I sure would like to be able to serve more kids.
Yeah, that was a great program. We totally utilized it when we were needing it when Jack was younger, and it was a huge savior.
All right, so you recently completed the adoption of your son, which congratulations, we're so excited for you. Can you tell us a little bit about the process and now being a family of 3?
Yeah, so, I'll try to give you the short version of the story, but my wife was a volunteer mentor through Family Care Network. It was over 2 years ago now, and she was paired up with this wonderful young boy who was in foster care, had been in foster care for a little while. And it really was kind of like a big sister kind of model. We really had no intentions at this point in our lives, which, is, if anything, you're planning retirement, not planning to be a parent at our stage in career. So yeah, really did not go into this thinking that this was going to happen. But, given the stages of his case, he was needing a permanent solution, permanent home. And at first we said, no, that's not something we can or really in our place to do. And then we did a 360 and said yes. And so he moved in with us April a year ago. And then with COVID, the adoption process got delayed, obviously. But we had our ceremony last Friday, a week ago.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's been quite a journey. Very humbling, I will say that.
Yeah, my sister-in-law has adopted 3 sets of siblings, and each case is completely different than the next one, but they're a little bit of a roller coaster ride, to say the least. So Yeah, I remember you calling Michael though and saying, "What's it like to have a son your age, that your son's age, and have him be an only child?" We're like, "Well, we don't think we're ruining him yet, but I guess it's too early to tell."
Yeah, and I think too, just and I think there's just my experience, but all the families, including some of yours, probably, going into getting it close to month 6 now. We're seeing the impact on everyone, on our staff. We're seeing the impact on our families of just that many months of stress and trying to manage so many layers of what we're all trying to manage. So, yeah, this is actually probably going to be the first year that we're going to incorporate a mental health intern from Cal Poly into our efforts. Been wanting to do it for a long time, but it'll be through Transitions Mental Health, just because I think that our families have needed a lot of support, and this is its own form of trauma, I think, going through a pandemic like this, and it has an effects on impact. So
I agree completely. It's definitely something we struggle with Jack, because we can't expand our bubble very much because of Michael's health, and so he has a few friends that are doing overnights at other friends' houses, and it's just not something that we can allow him to do, which kills me. But he understands. On the one hand, he's old enough to comprehend, and then the other side, it keeps creeping in that that's what he wants to do. So yeah, it's a struggle for sure. I mean, we are not the people he wanted to be quarantined with for this long of a time.
Yeah, nor are we, I would say too. You pick 2 older moms that don't have a yard and have kind of big jobs, and it's so
yeah, we're not the most fun people.
it is what it is, right?
It is. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us today, Monica. It's been a pleasure, as it is always. And are you still in the middle of the YMCA fundraising campaign right now? Is that going on right now?
Well, I will say you're never done fundraising, right?
Right, in a nonprofit, yeah, for sure.
You know that for sure, right? Doing what you've done in nonprofits. So, our annual support campaign did end, thankfully, before the pandemic really
hit. Good.
But in spite of the pandemic, happily, our fundraising has remained healthy. And I think it's because we went into this pandemic with some really solid donor relationships. And I think we have a good case. I think we have a good case for support during this pandemic, because one of the things that was really important to me was that if we're going to stay open, which I felt was important, we have to actually be serving the community. Like, we have to be doing something that's not just about us keeping staff employed, although that's nice, but we have to continue to have our mission even in these challenging times. And I'm proud, again, it's been a smaller footprint, but I still think the families that we are able to serve, it is a lifesaver. I mean, there's no doubt, for the families that we're serving, they would not be able to have a livelihood right now. And some of these, we have a diverse range of families, but we do serve a lot of low-income families who don't have the luxury of, I say luxury, I have the luxury of getting to work remotely. That's not true, as for many people in their jobs. And so to be able to be there for those families is, I think, very important.
Yeah, that
also,
is definitely.
In our family fitness facility, we have a large population of seniors. And I think for anybody, keeping up your health during the pandemic, we've all been doing that in our own ways, is critical, right? And that mental health aspect as well. So to be able to do outdoor fitness right now, we're having a surprisingly good a number of people coming out for that. And I think a lot of it is just connection, the safe connection with others.
Yes. And interaction with other humans. I agree.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today. And we will continue to support what the YMCA does.
Thank you. And thanks for what you're doing in making connection.
Yeah. This is Ashlea Boyer,
Jordan Hamm,
and Shannon Bowdey
with the Pismo Beach Homes team.